Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the Mic Drop. Today we're doing something just a little bit different, a little bit of a kind of a break in the normalcy of what's going on right now, which is okay to do because we don't. There's no set rules to how the Mic Drop has to work. As truths come, we get to adapt and adjust completely how we would like. Great news! The last installment that I went ahead and put through. I was talking about the Fain family, and I had sent them what I had done in my mic drop video, and the response that I got back is they loved it, and they're wanting to go through now and do so even in a more, like, they want to take a look at it even more in depth and see, like, is there more, So I said, I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hold off on it. I mean, I'll keep the one that I got now. We can have plenty of dialogue on how to fully convey your truth in the way that you want to. I have no problem with that whatsoever. So I really like the process that we have in doing that already, which for me just feels the right way to do. So that's why we're going to do this one today, and we're going to work on that one going forward. But additionally, the other stories that are going to be coming out leading up to June 20th, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that those are okay to post kind of beforehand, just to like whatever's going to come out, you're kind of good with. And I already have enough stories to go through anonymously that I've already said, yes, please go ahead and share my stuff anonymously to go through the end. But if there's actual people that want representation, especially the ones within Middlebury community, going to the school board meeting, in my truth, my feelings on this in the matter, that would have somewhat of a greater impact, at least going into that board meeting. Not that anybody's story is any more or less important or impactful than anybody else's, but for the purposes of Middlebury Entitlement School Board, they only really can legally have to listen to people that have identified themselves from Middlebury. They even make them go through and do it at the beginning of every board meeting. Hi, my name is such and such. I am this person, and here's my address from the community. And then they're allowed to speak. So, the good news about the adaptability of the mic drop is that the truths are not going to run out. And I'm excited about in whatever capacity they're going to come out. Today's actually made me really excited because I was waiting for this. So this was something that I had been anticipating for a while. And whenever you are going to take a stand against something, whenever you are willing to stand up for probably an unpleasant truth that's going to ruffle a lot of feathers, you have to be prepared for those people to bite back. They're not going to like that their system is exposed, that the Middlebury Entitlement System has been exposed. They're probably going to try and do a bunch of stuff to discredit me or try to twist what I'm saying into the worst way possible and yada, yada, yada. Good news about everything I've said to you guys since I started this thing. I am not in charge of what you think. You are in charge of what you think. There's going to be people that are probably going to be commenting on my stuff. They're going to probably try to tell you what you should think. And then they're going to get a bunch of people, probably from Middlebury, to click that like button like 50 times, because that's what people do in a totalitarian regime. When it's threatened, they unify immediately to the place where there's a hole that's threatened, and they throw everything they have at that one hole. I mean, go read the books. They're right there. Again, Mr. Nay, fantastic teacher. Appreciate you. So today's mic drop is going to be entitled, I don't know. I've gone back and forth with the title. So at some point at the end of this video, when I actually go and title it, it'll actually have a set one. But I have received feedback from a Middlebury community school, a Middlebury community family member on one of my videos. And I totally encourage all of you guys, please comment on my videos. There's a reason I make them public. Like, no one has to subscribe. There's no shadiness. Everything that I say is out there. Everything I comment is out there. There's no special permissions for anybody to see anything or not. It is just, it couldn't be more transparent. And if it could, I would probably try to find a way to do so. Or else what's the point of having a talk show about truth? It just kind of seems fruitless. So, as I was going through some of the stories today, I found a comment had actually popped up on one of the stories that I had done. And I love it when I see these comments. A lot of them right now are my former graduates that are, I mean, the majority of the likes and the majority of the comments that I'm getting on all my videos are, oh my gosh, thank yous. I'm a graduate of this year, and here's my story. Or you were the only one to be there during this time, and I never told you. Or it's just been so enriching for me to receive that. And when I see a comment on my videos, I immediately want to affirm the person, thank you for sharing your truth. And that goes well for too the people that I know that are going to get planted online to try to take down my truth or make it look bad. Remember, I left Middlebury because everything that I tried to do in truth, they wanted to turn and twist and make the worst possible way, and I never got a chance to speak for my truth ever. I was completely shut down, which is why I started this. Ironically enough, it didn't take long before that same Middlebury entitlement mentality to follow me here and start making comments. So, this mic drop video is entitled, How to Deal with a Dissenting in a Respectful Manner. The minute I say this, you guys are going to go take a look at all of the actual comments, which I'm more than fine to do. You can go ahead if you want to pull it up for reference. If you look at my episode 10 of the M.E.S.S, the Middlebury Entitlement School Saga, you'll see a username by Gantman who has responded to what he feels is his truth on the video. And he said that he feels, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit because I'm not reading it verbatim because I want you guys to go and read it all on your own by yourself. This is what I remember of the important things that he'd said. So again, I'm human, I err. So this is mostly what I got. He told me he didn't say in my opinion, or he didn't say in my truth, or didn't do it like that. He basically said it more as a fact. These videos aren't doing anything to help your cause. Statement. Okay. And he went on to say what I should do by the end of it, but had a little bit of commentary. You know what? I tell you what. Let's have some fun. Let's go ahead and pull it up. I don't want to misquote. That's the only reason. I'm going to try to not imply or lead anything with all that stuff, but I don't want to misquote. Because I'm dedicated. So, I'm going to pull up these comments verbatim. This username, Gantman, originally posted this statement. He said, this series isn't doing anything to get your point across. It sounds more like you complaining online and targeting these people because you don't like them. If you want change, you should do it in a real way and not go about it on YouTube. That was his original post when he typed it out a couple, maybe a few hours ago, when I'm doing this one. I comment on that 3 minutes after he comments on it. And the first thing I say is, thank you for your truth, Gantman. Like, that's his name, and thank you for the truth. I'm always appreciative when someone wants to bring their truth, even if it's contrary to mine. So he brought his truth. He didn't thank me for mine. It doesn't seem like he was throwing any respect towards what I said at all in his comment. He just wanted to assert his opinion and be done. Which, a lot of the time, in my experience with people from Middlebury, that's the case. So I just replied, thank you for your truth, Gantman. I disagree with you. My truth is that it is getting my point across in a very big way. My truth is based on the thousands of views this channel has already accumulated. What's your truth based on? Because it sounds more like you're complaining online and targeting a man who has been traumatized by people telling him his truth didn't matter. If you want me to change, you should ask for it in a much more intelligent way and not go about it on YouTube. It's messed up that you're passing judgment on me without even getting to know both sides. Are you from Middlebury by chance? I love you though, like you matter, heart sign, because I don't know this guy from Adam. So then I find out that he goes and edits his own comment to add something else. Now, I'm not one to draw analogies, but I will today. If you remember when I did these videos about how Middlebury handled the updates on the graduation ceremony's live stream, you'll notice that they posted one post and it started with, you will definitely have a live stream, and they never posted anything new. They edited that one that says, we will try to make sure that there's a live stream. And then finally, as you guys all remember, an hour before the actual ceremonies to begin, update, oh, we're sorry, we are not going to be able to do a live stream. Now, if you remember me commenting on that, I said that's a shady way of going and updating the information to people without actually updating the information for people. Most people have their notifications set that if something new posts, if someone comments on this post or a new post comes out, they get an alert. It's like, hey, there's a new comment from Middlebury Community Schools, or someone has commented on your post from Middlebury Community Schools. You know what never happens? Is when someone edits a post and it doesn't change anything from what you've done. It just doesn't change anything at all. So what your comment could have been, the first time that they posted that, like the fourth time, if they've gone in and update, they can basically try to make the argument that you're saying your comment about the update instead of what it actually was. Real shady, real sneaky, which is why I kind of called it out. This gentleman kind of did the same thing because he went in and he edited his post, not making a new post. And he just wanted to add one sentence that he says, it's messed up you're trying to bring his family into this as well. Now, if you go up and talk about the board meeting fiasco, I believe the he or the his in this one refers to Dr. Jason Snyder. I'm not going to assume because I don't like the way that word is spelled. But if that is the case, I wanted to comment on just the editing the comments thing because it's kind of a shady practice, and this is my channel. And I've got a lot of students, and some kids are going to be watching this stuff, and I don't want them to pick up the same shady practices that I actually have tried to escape from in Middlebury. So I commented back to the individual, Gantman, and I said, if you want to edit your comments instead of posting new ones, to have an actual conversation instead of hiding your updates like Middlebury Entitlement School does, I would prefer if you didn't. This is my channel, and while you are welcome to share your truth, you could do so in a more transparent and mature manner. Could you do so? I have a lot of students watching these videos, and you're not setting a good example for them on how to be transparent. So, I mean, the whole reason I started the mic drop and the mic truth was to protect a truth that usually gets shut down and doesn't get the light of day. And here I am where I'm sharing a truth, and it sounds like it's not even, like nobody's... You know what? I'm gonna let you kind of do your own thing. Now, this was weighing on me for a little bit because it was my first dissenting opinion. I guess we'll go ahead and call it, which is a valid truth. A dissenting opinion from someone, a human being, is their truth. They get to have that. It's just as valid as yours and mine. It's just as important as yours and mine. If you care about this individual as you're supposed to care about yourself, then you're going to listen to their opinion. It doesn't matter if it's immature, doesn't matter if it's unintelligent, doesn't matter if they don't know what they're talking about or how to use more than 3-syllable words. It's fine because they're still valuable people. We all need to feel like our truth can be said no matter what capacity we're able to give it. And that should be loved unconditionally. So this was kind of weighing on me for a little bit because I was just like, I'm wondering if there's more that I could do. I don't want to come off too abrasive, even though I am having to defend my truth in a very kind of blunt way. I still want to try to be as compassionate as I can be in all of this. So I clicked on Mr. Gantman's profile, and he only has one follower on there, and it's the big banner at the top says Caleb Vachera. Now, I don't work at Middlebury Community Schools anymore, and I haven't for over a year and a half. So I can tell you that it is common practice not to mention the names of students that that work at a school during these times. But when you choose to join a public forum and comment on it, you're also inviting people to try to understand you and where your opinions are coming from, because that's what people do when they value you. They want to understand. That's why I'm doing Mike's drops, so that people can understand where it is that all of this stuff has come from in me through the stories that I actually lived. And, I remembered, because I was pretty live with the cheer crowd and the pep crowd, and usually the cheer blocks represent and roll out, the two biggest sports are usually football and basketball, and they have done a tremendous job, especially in the recent few years, of showing up to a lot more events post-COVID, which I think is phenomenal. Good job, cheer block of Northridge. Good looking out. I think you're actually doing a better job than even I was able to do when I was there, where you guys asked me to lead you. So you found your voice and you're doing great. Sorry, side tangent. I can't help but praise kids whenever I see something that they're doing right. So I remember this name because my last names of my kids were R through Z when I worked there. And I remember this name kind of vaguely as being like, this guy's a really good athlete, or like he's either he's a really good athlete or he had really good sportsmanship, or or both, something along those lines. And what I remember of his players, his peers, talking with him. And granted, this was like the last year that I was there, and I was not completely present as much as I would like to that last year. But the freshmen are they're kids we get excited about a lot because they're brand new. Like for me, they're brand new stories. Like I love my sophomores and my upperclassmen. I will for sure. And we get new stories every year that we get to build together. From the moment that we make a connection as you guys being freshmen, which are treasures that I will keep in my heart and take with me forever, for sure. But there is something that is truly novel about a freshman coming in with only experiences that have existed outside of the high school, or predominantly having that. It's a wealth of fun because they're dying for people to hear what they were able to accomplish in middle school. You go from eighth grade, king of the crop, down to, going to high school and you're a freshman. Sometimes that can be a little jarring for some, unless you're confident in who you are. And what I remember of Mr. Vachera, he's pretty confident in who he is. And I remember that, he had the respect of some of his players. Like you can tell when someone's on a sports team and they are regarded well versus they're not regarded well. Like if you're to mention a name and somebody goes kind of like this off to the side, like, yeah, you can kind of feel in their nonverbals they don't really have a high opinion of them. But when you mention someone's name and it immediately commands respect, like one of the greatest student that I've probably ever had the pleasure of counseling, and I say greatest by like no standard other than the fact that I don't think I as a human being could ever approach the level and complexity and sheer breadth of the awesomeness that this person has naturally. He's my hero. That's why I would say he's kind of like the greatest of the ones in that regard. It was Micah Yoder, and Micah Yoder had a servant's heart that led both on the football field and on the basketball court, in choir. He poured his heart out into the other children that were coming up in the sport that he was in. I think, if I remember correctly, he led the speech after they had lost and they'd done so well that year. It was Micah Yoder that led that speech that brought everyone, together on their knees. And so, they're just these kids that do such amazing things that I can't help but become fans of them, like for real, for real. And as you can tell in the way that I talk about children, I don't have a qualm praising children, period. And if it's information that exists publicly, like, okay, so I this is what happened. I clicked on Mr. Gant and I saw that Caleb Vachera is his, and then that's what triggered the memories of that. So I responded to him in a way that was true to my heart. And I felt a little bit remorseful of this because, again, towards the last couple of years of my years at Northridge High School, it was miserable for me. It was the worst that I'd ever experienced professionally. So finally, I figure out who this guy is and the family is, and I just say, you know what, I make this other comment. And I said, also, Mr. Vachera, I unfortunately was not able to ever meet you or watch Caleb play. You don't know me and you've never spoken with me, but from what I've heard of him, he's a fantastic athlete with a good head on his shoulders and has the respect of his teammates. As an upperclassman, because I know he's going into his upperclassman years, his sportsmanship is awesome to see, so the younger kids will be able to model it, and it reminds me of kind of like how a Micah Yoder used to be, a good servant leader that you could actually follow. Now, again, you have to understand something true. I don't know Caleb at all. He, from what my truth comes out of, what the respect of his teammates have kind of given, because I didn't get a chance to work with him. So I don't have a problem sharing truths that I've heard, especially if they're complimentary towards an individual, especially towards kids, because I don't know about you guys, but the kids these days, they're kind of dying for positive affirmation. A lot of it. Especially in a world that's really confusing right now and they don't know what to do or what to expect. Hearing something like a daily, like, hey, good job getting through today. We're only promised today, so I'm proud of you. Something like, just a lot of words of encouragement, basic words of encouragement. So I said to him, I said that. I said, and so when I said that about Caleb, in that comment, I wanted to ask him, are these the type of comments I've made about families that you feel are messed up? Because this video that he's commenting on was, the board meeting video, and the only families that I believe I mentioned in there was, Dr. Jason Snyder in the year that I got a chance, that I was assigned to work as the school counselor for his daughter. I don't have a problem coming on a public forum and saying that awesome kids are awesome. Ever. But the way that you took it seems to me, and I could be wrong, which is why this is an open forum of truth. Feel free to come in and comment on this one, and we can continue the open dialogue. It just seems kind of like it felt more like you had a problem with me. I don't understand. Honestly, I don't get at all why anybody would actually have an issue with praising kids randomly, but you somehow feel that that's messed up. Okay. So I said, are these the type of comments I've made about families you feel are messed up? I'd be really interested in opening a dialogue about how verbally praising children in spite of their father's immature and unintelligent attempts at adult conversation is a bad thing. I pretty much spelled it out in this video, or, in the video before, that when Dr. Jason Snyder interrupted one of the community members that had 3 minutes to speak and didn't allow her to get through her concerns, that's immature and that's unprofessional. And I think it sets a bad example for someone as awesome as his daughter, which, guess what? I get an opinion to say that. I'm allowed to. You know why? Because I'm human. And I have a heart. And I have a truth. And it matters. It matters just as much as yours does. Yeah, man. So I just told him I hadn't heard that particular side of things yet, and I'm open to considering it, and asked him, feel free to reach out to me directly. I would really love to talk with you about this. So, these are the comments, at the time that I made this video, and he's, not commented back, and hasn't edited his post anytime soon. I'm not sure why, but it seems like, and I kind of hate to say it like this, because, again, I don't know Caleb. It seems like Mr. Vachera is more of the Middlebury cookie cutter mentality stuff that has led to the corruption at Middlebury Entitlement Schools, just based on the way that he has responded to a video and the way that he edited it very, very shadily, like Middlebury Community Schools did with graduation. That's my truth based on what I've seen in this story. I'm not saying that's what's actually happening, but I'm also saying, can you tell me what it's not? Because that seems kind of like what it is. And you have to understand, too, Mr. Vachera, when you're silent after this and you don't say anything after you've made this comment, all it looks like to everybody else is you tried to take like a knife and stab my truth because you didn't like it and you wanted the air to kind of come out of it because you didn't open a dialogue. You made a comment. And rightfully so. I mean, you can come in and do a mic drop and walk away at any time, for sure. But if you're going to comment on my video, doesn't that invite dialogue? Or is it you just want to be able to watch my video that I make public and hide behind your screen and comment however you want, and then disappear without any accountability? If that's the case, I mean, you're kind of making a very strong case for you being part of the problem with Middlebury Community Schools. I don't know this to be the truth. This is not something I'm standing on a pulpit and saying, you all need to believe this because this is what happened to me. I'm literally verbally processing the first dissenting opinion that has come across any one of my videos. And I'm doing it with you guys as a part of the Middlebury Entitlement School Saga because evidentiarily it looks kind of like this is one of those people. So I want to say that to say this. When you have a dissenting opinion, you have a couple of choices, okay? One of them is to stay silent completely, which really kind of looks bad on your part overall. Even if you were raised in the era that said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It shouldn't be about nice or not nice when it comes to the truth. It should be about accepted with kindness, period. Everybody's truth matters. So it's important that you'll get fired up if you stand for something and then someone comes and attacks it. You'll get fired up to defend it. And what you'll have to realize is that that's how the politicians work. They try to come in, they try to do some things that'll set you off to do something that they want you to do, so they have justification to do things to you. Same way that Middlebury threw that trespass on me unjustly, that's still on. But I want to tell you guys this. When you're looking at these comments, I know that you have an urge to come in and probably just, tear somebody apart and all that stuff. Please don't do that. I love the fact that we are trying to open dialogues here between people, and you guys know, if you're from the Middlebury community, that trying to open dialogue with people who have had things a certain way for so long and don't really want things to change, that can be a little bit difficult to bring people to the table. I'm trying to do so in the nicest way that I possibly can, knowing full well that I'm probably going to get attacked left and right unfairly, just like I did at the school board meeting. But how you handle someone dissenting your opinion shows a lot about who you are as a person, your responses. Am I upset that he made that comment because I think it was like a Middlebury entitlement jab like I'm used to? I mean, yeah, it hurt a little bit. I'm a human, it's going to be honest. And when I found out that that's who he was, and I figured out that that's most likely, at least based on my truth, the truth that he is a probably strong, pretty representation of Middlebury Entitlement Schools, I felt disheartened. I felt a little bit sad. I just knew it was coming. And so all I want to tell you guys is this. If you ever feel like defending me, if you ever feel like standing up for someone else's truth, try to do so in a way that is extremely kind and compassionate, because most people aren't expecting that. They're trying to cause a fight. And I've said this to students for the last decade that I've been a school counselor. The way that one of the best ways to defuse a bully, if it is like in the moment, is just to show like they have no effect on you whatsoever. They're always trying to get a reaction. Always. That's kind of how it's been ever since bullying has existed. And that's what they're looking for on here, guys. They're really looking for people to get fired up and start, naysaying, and they're trying to find something on me that can be like, here, this is going to break everything apart. So now all of his videos, I'm here. I'm completely transparent. What do you want to know? Like, let's have a dialogue. I promise you that I will have conversation in a kind way, but I can't tolerate immaturity and unintelligent conversation if you're trying to have it at a high academic level, which is what we're trying to do here with the mic drop. I would ask that you try to, if you're going to come and have a dissenting opinion, do so in a way that is as respectful as what I'm trying to do with the mic drop. And I know that's a big ask, because some of you guys don't really give a crap about me and never have given a crap about me or my truth or my opinion, but feel entitled to come in here and say things. But I'm going to ask you to do it anyway, because it's for the kids. You're only showing your true colors by doing this, and I'm trying to give the kids hope that you're not that. And like Middlebury Community Schools School Board, you're kind of writing the script for me by showing your true colors. And you're not really doing that well towards defending whatever it is you're trying to, and it's making me sad because you think I'm bringing families into this. Yeah, man, it would be very, very, I believe, it would be very, very naive of you to think that me commenting on something regarding a school board member or a child of a school board member, if you think that's messed up, you have no idea what those school board members are saying about your kids behind your back. Because I've heard those too. Or what your counselors are saying behind your back. Or if you're in the case of Carly Meeker, you're saying it right in front of their face and posting it on Instagram. So, props to Carly Meeker for being, at least transparent with who you are, truthfully. So, props for you. But I'm just going to ask, guys, I love you. And I want to do this completely in love. And it's meant a lot to me that we've been trying to do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and knock it off here because we're getting the 30-minute mark. Just know that I love you guys. I love your opinions, and I love your truth. And Mr. Vishera, I love your truth, too. We're trying to do something different than what scares the staff of Middlebury Community Schools into doing things that are just unthinkable. So if you want to try to bring the old back into that and stop that, I'm going to ask that you not, but you are entitled to your truth. I love you and respect you. I love all of you. You matter. This has been the Mic Drop. I'm your host, Mike with the Most, and we out.